Hello, amazing viewers. You're welcome to yet another segment on Page by Page. My name is Bubu Duruga. You know how we always do it on Page by Page. I'm not always alone. I have my amazing colleague in the person of gratitude.
Thank you so much. But what are you doing today?
I'm doing very well.
Thank you to all our amazing viewers out there. Thank you so much for joining us on this amazing edition of Page by Page on Romiria Television. Getting direct into our topic of discussion for today. We have two hot topics for discussion on our tables this morning. The first one is creating awareness for HIV, which has been fast rampant in recent times. And the second one is a breakdown of the subsidy from June 2023 to December 2025 from the Minister of Finance, Prof. Taiwo Ayodele, with the question, where did it go? But now I'm going to leave it on the desk of my colleague, Bubu, to shed more light on this topic of discussion.
Nigerians have been asking the APC-led administration for some time that where did the subsidy go to? And first I need to even start from, is subsidy, removal of subsidy, a good thing? Because it seems like the only thing Nigerians get to enjoy from having oil in the land is the fuel subsidy. A lot of people are coming to hail the government for the removal of fuel subsidy and all of that. And we're asking, where did this money go to? And Professor Ayodele on the 19th of August 2026 actually came out to bring out the books and say, okay, this is where subsidy went to. And I'm going to quickly read out a few things before I actually address it. You understand? So, according to Professor Ayodele, he said 15.8 trillion naira was saved from 2023 June to 2026 of June, and 30.64 trillion naira was spent, and they actually borrowed 12 trillion naira. So it now goes to ask that if we are spending around 50 to 60 trillion naira on fuel subsidy in a span of 3 years, you know, so Nigerians are not actually seeing this thing in their day-to-day life. I don't know if you understand. They are saying, okay, they are putting it back into the economy, they are putting it here, they are putting it there. But are Nigerians actually seeing the effects of this thing? I would always go back and I would say, when we didn't have fuel affects, let me start from this. Fuel actually affects everything we do as a people. You understand? It affects production. If the price of fuel is low, everything in the country is going to drop automatically. I don't know if you understand. Let me reiterate to 2015, where there was subsidy, where we were paying 200 naira for fuel. You could see a bag of rice clearly going to 33,000 naira under the past government and the Muhammadu Buhari administration. You understand? Now, removal of fuel subsidy, you could see a bag of rice going for 75,000 naira or even more, because the cost of transportation is high. The roads are not good.
Yeah.
These people are spending a lot more to buy fuel to transport their goods. You understand? See the price of gas, cooking gas. It's almost times 2 of what they buy it. Look at the price of cement. The other day, the people were asking Alhaji Alingo Dangote that why is the price of cement at almost 12,000 naira now? And he was like, they spent, I think he said they spent 7 point something billion on energy. So these are things that if you put subsidy in place, these people get to enjoy subsidy. Everything is going to drop. And I do not always like when I hear people come out to say that removal of subsidy is a good thing. Removal of subsidy is not a good thing. Other countries pay subsidy. China pay for subsidy. China spent $2.2 trillion on subsidy yearly. America spent $670 billion on subsidy. So maybe I'm saying it, that's why most times you cannot sell below people in China. You get, because their government have subsidized energy for them. And I'm hearing that President Tinubu coming out to say that if he wins the 2027 election, that he's going to remove subsidy in electricity. So these are the thing. Removal of subsidy is not the solution.
What happens after is
what happens after. See, the truth, whether we like it or not, is that removal of subsidy is not going to, the common man or the woman selling gari or selling akara on the street is not going to see the removal of subsidy. What affects her directly is that subsidy that is in place already. You understand? Let me say this. Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala said something. She said, removal of subsidy is not the solution, because they are coming out to say, okay, Nigerians use X and Y amount of fuel in a year. Okay, you're saying we use this amount of fuel, or people use this amount of fuel. She was like, the amount of fuel that this person that Nigerians use is not actually true. Nigerians do not use this amount of fuel. You understand? So the solution is not removing fuel subsidy. The solution is, firstly, let us first bring out this thing and know the exact amount Nigerians use. This is what we have Bureau of Statistics. This is their job to know how much how much fuel we use as a nation. I would use Saudi Arabia as an example. In Saudi Arabia, they have a control room where they monitor the amount of oil that leave the country, the amount of fuel they use in the country, the amount of these things are calculated. But in Nigeria here, everything is based on vibes and inshallah. You understand? It's as if you are just living off vibes. You understand? So we need to know, okay, this is the amount. I'll give an example. President Tinubu said Nigerians need to wait 8 years for us to see the reform take place. And honestly, governance is not that hard. The newly elected, I think is Mayor of Manchester, if I'm not mistaken, he said, if I come into office, I would reduce bus fare and everybody's going to pay £2. I think Mayor of Manchester or Mayor of London, and everybody's going to pay £2. He came into office, and immediately he came into office. The next day, he implemented it. It's not that the price of bus fare is cut down. It's that the citizens are going to pay £2, and after that, the government is going to pay the remaining one. What is that? That is subsidy, making life easy for the common man.
Yeah.
And this is what we've been crying. Make life easy for us. This subsidy removal of a thing is not the solution. Let's be honest with ourselves. Subsidy removal of a thing is not the solution. Let us see how much we spend. How much does Nigeria consume? How much fuel do Nigerians consume? They will not know how to go about it. Because if we keep saying, okay, fuel subsidy is the solution, this is the solution. Okay, let me say this now. You say that you're taking away fuel subsidy and you're using it to enhance or develop Nigeria. I remember that time we talked about the budget, the 2026 appropriation bill, and I pointed out something that most of the things in that budget is to enrich them. They use it to enrich themselves. Now look at this. The federal government assigned 966.9 billion naira to run federal universities for 2026, and they also appointed 962.83 billion naira to buy SUVs. So what are we actually doing? If you say, okay, the money is to service the citizens or to create a better life for the citizens, why is it that the money kept aside for private for running of our Nigerian universities is almost the same thing with which the politicians are using to buy SUVs for themselves? So you understand, these things are not adding up. Let us tell ourselves the truth. They are not adding up. They should come out and tell us that, okay, this. Now, see what according to Professor Yodeli, he said from the around 60 trillion naira that was gotten from subsidy, they gave the federal government 5.43 trillion. The states in Nigeria, they gave them around 6.52 trillion, and the local government got 3.88 trillion. And so they also used about 9-point-something trillion to pay wages and all of that. What are these people doing? See, that's why I say that we are living up on vibes and inshallah. Because if you say you're giving the federal government 5.43 trillion, what then is happening? Why are we not seeing it? What did they use this money for? These people should come out and be accountable. Tell us this is what I saw on the internet yesterday, and this is very, very sad. On the Bini Ore Expressway, how people stayed on that road for 24 hours. People were on that road for 24 hours because of how bad that road was, or how bad the road is. And we have a certain minister of works who wants to create another road from the coastal highway to Calabar. Instead of fixing...
what I think about this whole situation, like you rightly said, you mentioned something, accountability. Nigerians will keep going back and forth till we hold these people, we hold the politicians accountable. The offices put in place to hold them accountable. The first one is the House of Representatives, the House of Assembly. Then the second one, like you said, is the Bureau of Statistics. But this is not even functional in this part of the world. We don't even know what they're doing. Their analysis, their calculations, we're not seeing anything. The only thing we're seeing is looted funds generated or pushed to this order to nail fund. Things that are not really happening. They're just giving us words. They're not giving us facts. They're not giving us proofs. So we need a change. And in the light of whatever is going on, in the light of the subsidy and all of it, Rufai Oseni made a video comparing 2023 prices to the current price of things. And I'm just going to read this very quickly. For example, 450 naira item as at 2023 is now 6,600 naira. And this has drawn hundreds of replies from Nigerians venting frustration over soaring costs of staples and building materials. Many blame President Tinubu's policies such as the fuel subsidy removal, naira change, and for destroying their purchasing power despite official data showing headline inflation dropping to 15.43% in July 2026. So this is really, really a lot. You're telling us this is what is going on, but we're not seeing anything. Like people rightly said, the common woman on the street, the lady selling akara, selling potatoes, selling yam, selling tomatoes and all of those things, how would they feel the subsidy when nothing is being done? It is not distributed to the common Nigerians. You said some amount of trillions were allocated to wages. Wages where? How? What wages are you? Because I'm trying to see if we can categorically calculate how much is being allocated to the government officials right now. It's not even up to the amount they collected from subsidy. So what is actually going on? In conclusion, I would just say that if Nigerians were asked to endure hardship in the name of reform, transparency and visible results should not be negotiable. 15.8 trillion naira is a massive amount of money. So beyond the figures and papers, where are the results Nigerians can actually see? Like we've just been saying, we need to see results. We need to see results. But still in the light of creating awareness and giving enlightenment in some of these trending issues and happening issues around the states, what we're talking about right now is HIV precautions. So we've seen in recent times how people are now talking about HIV, and this is because they have now found out that in Nigeria alone, we have 45,000 newly infected HIV persons. 45,000 now distributed to our 36 states and the regions, the local government, and our common areas. You know how many people are carrying HIV right now in Nigeria. Nigeria has seen about 45,000 new HIV cases in 2015 down to 2026. So we just need things that would keep us or let us have precautions and just keep us from getting infected. And the first one I would advise is using condoms correctly. Fine, we understand that sexual intercourse is one of the ways you can actually be contacted or contaminated rather and contact HIV. But sex is like the list of the things that happens or the list of reasons why you contact HIV. But you have to use condoms. Always use condoms consistently. Then the second one is get tested regularly. There is nothing like, oh, I've not had sex in 3 months. Oh, I've not had sex in a year. HIV takes time. It takes time to, start showing signs and all of that. So you really need to get tested. And also do not share needles, syringes, razors, or sharp objects. And the fourth one is consider PrEP. If you have HIV, if you are HIV negative and you are ongoing risk of exposure, make sure you consider PrEP. And lastly, if you may have been exposed, you are suspecting that, oh, your partner or the person you've had intercourse with might have HIV, make sure you seek PEP immediately because it starts within a space of 72 hours. So make sure you are safe. It's not only by sex. It's not only by and some people even believe that when you kiss someone through saliva, and it's not true. Saliva cannot give you HIV. It's through your blood. How can you get your blood to the other person? Pierced skin, sharp objects, and the likes of it. So you really need to be very careful. I don't know if you have anything to say about this.
So honestly speaking, Nigerians, when it comes to issue of this HIV thing, everybody becomes a saint. You understand? In the sense that we tend to shy away from topics like this. From statistics, it shows that 1.9 to over 2 million Nigerians live with HIV currently. And
Mm-hmm.
it is very, very sad that when we tend to raise alarm or talk about this kind of things, people will be like, oh, excuse me,
Yeah.
people would be like, oh, they do not live with HIV. Sex is not even the only way you contact HIV.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of different ways where you contact HIV. Sharing of sharp objects, even people, guys who go to the salon to cut their hair. You want to cut your hair and the barber is putting the powder on his hands and he can actually get a cut from there and actually cut your head too. So that's the thing. There are a lot of ways. So like you rightly said, get tested every 3 months. HIV takes
Mm-hmm.
around 12 to 45 days before it starts showing.
For some people.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
12 to 45 days before it starts showing. So get tested every 3 months. Whether you're sexually active or not,
Or not.
get tested because there are lots of different ways you can actually contact this virus. So please, please, and please, if you know that you have the virus, it's not something to be ashamed about. It's not something to shy about or something. You understand? Actually, go to a government facility and report yourself, and you'll be treated. You
Report
understand?
yourself. It now sounds like a crime.
Yeah, just go and report yourself, and you'll be
Okay.
treated. You get, and most of these drugs they actually give it to the people for free. I don't know if they still do that
Mm-hmm. They
anymore.
still
Yeah,
do.
and even the HIV strips, it's given out for free in government establishments, in the health centers, and in the
Yeah.
government hospitals. You understand? So just go there and tell them that, okay, see, I need this, I need this, I need this. It's not something to be ashamed about. You understand? And also to our health workers also, please and please, when people come to meet you, I saw something on Instagram the other day. It was like me going to the hospital to treat an infection. Be like, but that will get gonorrhea. You understand that kind of
Until we
thing?
get HIV.
Until we get HIV. Please, our health workers, please let us actually know how to.
Yeah, and be
You understand? Be
sensitive.
sensitive. Know how to approach these people. It's not HIV is not a death sentence.
It's
You
not.
get, there are actually drugs now that can even subside HIV to the extent that you will not even trace it to your. You understand? So please and please, let's actually do better as a people.
Let's actually do better. And very quickly, let me just put this out there. Like you rightly said, it takes 2 to 4 weeks for signs to start showing when you're infected. But for some people, it takes years. But some of these signs you might see are fever, sore throat, rash, swollen nudes, headaches, muscle aches, extreme tiredness that you would notice. And I mentioned PEP for people that are not familiar with what this means. PEP means post-exposure prophylaxis. Post-exposure prophylaxis. That's the drug you take when you are exposed to an infected person, and this infected person like 72 hours within that time span. You need to take this drug to keep it suppressed so you don't get infected. Thank you so much to all our amazing viewers out there for staying with us on this amazing edition of Page by Page on Rumi Royal Media. And also don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, and X. Stay safe, be happy. Bye for now.